Some stocks I'm going to present to you have a very small window of entry, which might actually come right at the open in the first trading day of 2021. What's happening, traders? If you're new here, I post weekly swing ideas every weekend. So please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Do you have swing trading ideas setting up for next week? Please leave them down in the comment section below and let's discuss. IPI. So the catalyst being an increase in the prices of their goods. There's actually an upbeat outlook in this company which explains the move. Although there's a 300 million shelf offering in effect, but there's no prospectus yet. So let's just put that in consideration. But nevertheless, there's a setup. You just have to take note of that. Then the float of this one is around 8 million. So it's not very low. It's also not very high. So this can definitely move with the right amount of demand. Trade thesis about behind this is I like a high volume day, high relative volume day with a solid green candle, although this has some wicks, but it's fairly okay. Then plan is to accumulate from 22 to 24. The stop is dynamic, so it can move for me. So whether it dips down or sells off, say 23 at the 23 level, so my stop loss will be just below that pivot low. We call that pivot low. And then target will be 27 for the first one, then 29.7. So we can see here there's some possible resistance, critical level around 27. So we take some, we take most, depends on you, before the key level. And then finally, if you can hold some, hold it around 27.4. NPA. We have here NPA without any catalyst, so this is just a technical trade for me. There's no offering also, so we can expect a natural price action. Float being 1.2 million, so it's definitely lower. This can definitely move both sides, so please don't chase, never chase. If there's no entry, if we can't get our entry, then there's no trade. So I actually traded this before in the low 11s, 11.25 I believe was my last average. And then the last I sold along the way, but the highest I've sold was about 15.5. Then I left some to trail more, just a small size of my original, and then I got stopped out at the break of 13. So you win some, you lose some, but I'm definitely happy on the trade. But that being said, I'm still bullish. It can go above higher than 16, so it might consolidate for a few days or weeks. Yet I'm keeping this on watch and see its price action. As you can see here, we also have a trend line, down trend line break, but this is just a three days of trend line break, so it might not amount to anything significant, but that's just something to consider, that this might be on the reverse. Then as you can see here, this 13 level, this is the pre-market high of this high volume day. Okay, and it got tested and it held twice. That's a very bullish sign to me that buyers are stepping up. They're defending this level. But as I like to do, I don't anticipate a trade. I wait for confirmation, but also I don't like to be left out, especially if I'm watching a stock. And the best way to compromise to both ideas is to get impartial and just add along the way if it confirms my trade, if it consolidates, if it pulls down, those healthy bullish moves. And then so the entry is 13.3 to 14.5. This is the area where I'm planning to enter. First, and the stop loss will be below of this pivot line, below of this pivot low. I mean, first target will be 15.7, so this might go double tap. So I'm just gonna take some or half or majority. For me, I'm just probably gonna take half before this high and then trail the rest based on price action. Next is CAN, catalyst being this is I believe a data mining, a Bitcoin mining company, and since Bitcoin right now is very hot, going to all-time highs every day, every other day, this gained momentum and there's no offering for this, so that's in our favor. Float being 70 or 130 million depending on which site you research, Finviz or Yahoo Finance. The trade thesis behind this is, as you can see in the daily chart, it's a very nice curl. It has a higher low, but most definitely this made my watch because of the high volume green candle day, just the recent day. I love these types of patterns, and as you can see, I have here yellow lines. So these yellow lines are possible resistance. One being the strongest being this pivot high, which coincides perfectly with the VWAP of this big green candle. So the VWAP for this is around this level 7.3. Then it's also the recent pivot high, which makes it for me the level to break if this tries to go higher. So with that, I'm trying to put a first target at 7 mostly, or say half of the size. Then I'm gonna trail the remaining depending on the price action. If it gets rejected and it's obvious with the price action, then I'm happy to go out. If it breaks this easily and maybe retest it, that's possibly a new entry. But I'm just gonna evaluate this day by day. And then the accumulation part would be around 5.5 and 6.25. That's the range I want to buy. And as I said before, I love going in partial. And if it goes down and my thesis is wrong, then I go out with lesser risk. Next, we have the IGR catalyst. There's no obvious catalyst for this, so this is just again a technical play. Offering, there's none, so that's very good for us longs, especially when we're swinging. Float being 75 mil or 115 million depending on again which site you research, Finviz or Yahoo Finance. Just to take note also, this is a China stock. This also applies actually to CAN. CAN is a China stock. Just I believe just a few hours ago, some companies, Chinese companies, are being delisted because of the Trump's executive order. So just bear that in mind and consider it in swinging this, that some Chinese companies are being delisted. So I'm not sure if this affects TIGR or CAN. Just something to remember. So the trade thesis for this is it has a very nice daily chart. Let's see the 1 year. So this is a curling, you can also say this is a cup and handle. This has a lot of technical signals aligning to it. One, we have here the trend line break or the cup and handle. Also, we have here a multi-month breakout. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the reclaim. And again, every time we have a breakout with volume, that's a very nice sign of a bullish move. And the pullback, the flag having lower volume relative to that breakout. And then the 7.3 level also coincides with the high volume day this day, with a 12 mil volume. As you can see, VWAP ends there, so that's the balance between sellers and buyers, and it coincides perfectly with the lines we have, the triple tops. So entry possible is 7.4 to 7.8. You the stop at around 7.08, or you might go down to just below 7, like 6.99, whatever is the case for you. I'm not planning to enter this anymore. I already have a full risk on size, but you actually still have an entry for this, especially if this goes down, dips below 7.4, 7.5. There's a good RR move here, risk reward move here. And then profit target is about 9.5, being just about twice our risk. If we consider 7.8, that's twice the move. So as you can you hear from other traders, take about 2R move, that's the minimum. And then for me, I'm gonna probably trail this since there's no obvious resistance above, so I'm just gonna base my stops on price action and trailing some, selling some along the way. Lastly, we have MRNA. This is a dynamic play for me, meaning there's a lot of things that can go wrong, there's a lot of things that can go right. I'm only playing this based on the price action and technical. This is actually a technical trade for me. There's no catalyst, there's no offering. It's been beaten down since the emergency authorization day, and when stocks are being beaten down this long straight down, if you can see at in the daily, this has a possible play to reverse. So that's the move that I'm taking. At this is gonna reverse at least some in the short term, so I'm trying to capitalize on that move. Trade thesis being a bounce of the 100. So 100 is a very good psychological level. The hundreds, the round numbers, the 50s, so on and so forth. But the better entry for me is around 85 to 95. So as you can see here in the daily chart, we have some resistances there which can provide us as support. And if you see it here, this is the day where they announced the 95 or 94 plus efficacy rate, and the 987, 88 level provided us as a support, so it can bounce there. And there's also some resistances, which I believe is gonna be the better trade. And my entry here, probable entry, is a break of this trend line. So when it confirms, it breaks the trend line, it breaks this moving average, then that's gonna be my entry, risking off where it reverses. So say this reverses tomorrow, I mean in January 4th, then I'm gonna place my stop level below this. And if it bounces off the 80s, 85, 95, then I'm gonna risk of below that level, whether it's 85, 95, wherever. Then profit target 1 will be around 118. This has this being a support, and then retested being a resistance. So that's one level to sell some if you have gotten the move. Next will be 126 to 128, the same idea of that. This held 132, held, and then it got rejected around that area. So that's us one of the levels you might sell majority of your position if you have some, but I'm gonna trail if we get this move and I get my entry, I get my trade. Most likely I'm gonna trail small, a little of my original size to go higher, and just based off the price action where I want it to be sold. If you like this video, please hit the like button so I know these videos provide value. Also, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you have stocks setting up for next week, leave them down in the comment section below and let's discuss. And with that, respect risk and continue to hustle, trade, and invest.